Hey coaches, this is Scottie Hobbs. I'm excited to be here with you guys today, and I say coaches, but this message is out there for anybody that is willing to listen to this and wants to hear it. It's just a part of my story. I've told this part a lot of times on team calls and webinars, and I realized that I haven't really shared how it was exactly when I began as a Team Beachbody Coach, when I began this journey of living a healthier lifestyle. Like I said, I'm here in Toronto, Canada. About a half hour, we're leaving to the biggest Beachbody event that Canada's ever had. I'm going to be a guest speaker there, share my story, and get to meet a lot of coaches. I mean, we've been excited for it. We're pumped up about it. I just got done doing a back workout down in the gym here at the hotel, and I'm feeling good now. But what I wanted to share with you guys is when I began my story, I'm going to share just briefly how my life was. I'll try to keep this short. So when I started, it was back in April of 2011 as a Team Beachbody Coach, but I want to rewind just a little bit. I found out about Beachbody coaching through my coach, Lindsay Matway. She's currently #1 in the company. She's made an impact on a lot of lives. But when she first invited me to become a coach, she was a coach for 3 months. Now, I didn't know this. I just knew she was confident in what she was doing. She knew where she was going. She had a vision for her life, and that drew me to her and made me want to follow what she was doing. I was seeing the impact that she was making. But the thing is it took me 8 months to sign up as a coach. And looking back now, of course, I'm like, that was 8 months too long. But in my mindset back then, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't know or have a belief that I could make an impact on people. A lot of times we determine who we are by our past, and I lived a past of what were called, in my mind, failures. The different things that I'd go out and do and what would become a failure or, not arrive at the point I was trying to get at. So it took me 8 months to decide to become a coach because I didn't believe in myself at that time. I didn't really know if I could make an impact. And aside from that, we were seriously struggling financially like you can't imagine. On the outside it appeared that we lived pretty good, but I worked my butt off. I would go to work at 5 o'clock every single morning. I would get home at 5 o'clock, and there were nights, and Gabby will tell you guys, there were nights when they needed an extra shift because I ran a cutting machine. At that point, I would work 12 hours, I would go eat dinner, then I would sit and watch the machine till midnight, go to sleep, wake back up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and be right back to work. So there were times I was working that many hours, and my wife Gabby was working from 3 in the afternoon until 11 at night. So that left me alone with my kids. A lot of people say, they love how I am as a father, but it's just really because at that point, those 4 years of our lives, of the first married years of our lives, I was with my kids all by myself from 5 o'clock. I'd bathe them, put them in bed, read their stories, put them in bed, all while my wife was at work. So that's where we were at. And so when I got introduced to Beachbody coaching, I was like, I didn't quite believe in myself, but there was also that factor of, do I have enough time because I'm working this many hours, my wife's working this many hours, and, in the money issue, I didn't have money to sign up for I felt I didn't have the money. It wasn't, at that point, I didn't understand the investment at the time, and I was like, I don't know if I can, pay the $40 sign-up fee and pay for Shakeology. We can barely make it as it is, and at that point in our life, at the moment when I became a coach, I want you guys to understand just a little bit. This is for you out there that maybe are thinking about doing something like this, becoming a Beachbody coach, or you're thinking about starting a challenge and working on your fitness. Let me tell you, the investment will be so worth it. The investment will be so worth it because I think back now, and back then, I didn't understand the investment yet, and my coach there was a month where Beachbody waived the sign-up fee, the $40 fee. You could sign up for free, and I still didn't do it. So it wasn't 100% fully, but money was an issue because I would have signed up there if money was an issue. My coach followed up with me. She's like, you want to be a coach? There's no sign-up fee this month. And I was just still like, no, it's not for me. And at that point, still, it was my belief system. I didn't believe I could make an impact on people. I didn't want to sign up for something that I didn't know if I could make an impact or help people or have the ability to help people. But I started reading the books that my coach was reading and following other coaches on Beachbody, and I found out they were reading these books and listening to Tony Robbins and John C. Maxwell, and I was like, I'm going to do that. So I started reading books, and I started reaching out and just giving people advice, and I absolutely fell in love with answering messages and helping people. It was it was like, no matter how bad my day was at work or how I felt, I could not wait to open my inbox and recommend a book to somebody, or just say like, hey, try cutting out drinking sodas, or try cutting out drinking energy drinks. It gave me a sense of purpose. And as I did that, and I saw people taking advice and like feeling good after a week of like not eating so much sugar or cutting out soda, I was like, wow, this is really cool, this feeling of helping people. So at that point, I was like, the belief started to change in me. I was like, I can do this. You know, I was getting more courageous in feeling like I could help somebody. And when I did that, I stopped making all of these things I've been talking about. I stopped making these excuses. And then my mind switched to, how am I going to make this happen? Because when you say something's too expensive, or you say something like, I don't have belief, they're really just excuses, and you have to find your way around them. Don't let your excuses hold you back or set you back in life. So at that point, like, honestly, when I signed up, that was the change. I started falling in love with helping people. I started believing in myself because I was reading these books. Number 3, I saw a bunch of Beachbody coaches on Facebook going on a cruise called the Success Club Cruise, and I was sitting in my cubicle and I was like, I want that. Like, I want to go on vacations and I want to live healthy, fit, and I want to go on vacations like those guys. And they're no more different than me. And so that was one of them. And then the 4th one was my daughter Alina was born on March 19th. I signed up on April 11th, so less than a month later. My wife was home from work. So all we were left with was my income, and our overtime got cut, and my wife was home, and the doctor bills started coming in, and there was no way possible that I could pay my bills. You know, we would get way behind, and I've shared this with a few people, but we owed, at that time, because we refinanced after, but at that point we owed $1,548 a month on our mortgage, and when my overtime was cut and my wife was home, I made $1,920 in a month. So like $910 every 2 weeks after taxes, insurance, 401k. So if you guys do the math, a family of 3 with a brand new newborn baby and doctor bills cannot live with a mortgage of $1,500 and a pay of like $1,900. It's impossible. So I'd been avoiding because of fear and all these things, becoming a Team Beachbody Coach, but it was like a culmination of all these things, seeing these guys go on the trip, starting to believe in myself, finding a sense of purpose in helping people, and then realizing I had something worth fighting for. Like, I needed to pay bills, and I realized that I needed to see my wife and have my kids see us together, so she shouldn't be working that much, and I shouldn't be working that much. So with all that, I became a Team Beachbody Coach. But let me tell you guys, I just told you guys I didn't have the money. So I started buying and selling like Wii's, Xbox 360s, laptops. I would search on Craigslist, I'd find a deal, and then I would buy it, and I set up it's like a little business for me. I set up a little bank account. I would buy an Xbox, let's say for $120, and I knew they would sell for $150, so I'd get the Xbox, I'd clean it up, make it look nice, put it in a box, and resell it for $150. And then I would have $30 commission, as you could say. So I did that for like a month, and I earned enough money to buy my Shakeology, to buy my sign-up coach fee. We didn't have challenge backs back then, so you guys are lucky now. I just had to pay the $40 and get my Shakeology, and I already had my workout. So I did those sacrifices to do that. And here's the thing, guys. I signed up at my neighbor's house because I didn't have internet in my home. I did not have a smartphone. I still had an old flip phone Nokia. And like I said, I didn't have internet. And so I signed up at my neighbor's house with this money that I earned by buying stuff on Craigslist and selling it on Craigslist. And I did my coach training academy. I sat down, did my coach training academy at my neighbor's house. He has a little desk there. I sat down just like an office, and he let me work there. And that's where I began my journey. And, you know, my wife, I asked her, I was like, do you believe I can do this? And Gabby told me, she's like, I don't know about that, but I believe in you. And with that added belief of her and the added belief of my coach Lindsay telling me that I could do this, and the belief that I began to build as I was helping people and reading books, I went to town. And I had the mentality then that I would do whatever it took, first of all, to make my $40 back and my Shakeology money back in the first month, so I didn't set my family back. That was something worth fighting for me. I didn't want my wife pissed off at me because I spent money that we didn't have. So I went to work. And what that did, having that thing worth fighting for, like needing to make that happen, made me do things that were very uncomfortable. I was extremely afraid to talk to people in a group. For example, I remember talking to like 8 people right when I started, and it scared the crap out of me. And you know, I got stumbled up. I didn't even share what I wanted to share. I had a picture of a transformation to share, and I was so nervous and scared that I didn't even flip the picture up, like, and show them. And that was like my main point. So just know that I was scared. And I have talked about belief a little bit here, but the number one thing I believe you have to have as you begin to get belief in yourself is you have to have courage. You have to be courageous enough to take a leap. You have to be courageous enough to sacrifice some time. You have to be courageous enough to talk to your spouse about your dreams. You have to be courageous enough to learn to be disciplined, to do that daily activity that will bring you the result. So that's how I got started on my journey. That's where I came from. Signed up with the internet, without internet. Used my neighbors. I did whatever it took. So what you have to do in life, if you want to become successful, is take all these things that you say are holding you back and realize that they're just excuses and you need to get around them. So if you want something, like I talk to people all the time that want to become Team Beachbody coaches and they don't have money. And I love that because I can totally relate with them. And I'm like, they're like, oh, I'm so excited to get started. Like, I really want to make an impact on people's lives. And then they're like, oh, I haven't had a job for 2 months. I can't sign up. And I'm like, perfect. This is something worth fighting for. And I just let them know. That's okay. I understand. I feel where you're at because that's where I was at. Let that drive you. I can't tell you exactly, like, when you're ready to sign up, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's 1 month from now, whether it's 6 months from now, whether it's a year from now, that's okay. It's on your terms because you've got to truly decide and commit, and I will be here for you when that time comes. But I'll tell you, if this is something, just like this conversation we've had, if this is something you want bad enough, and it's your calling, your purpose, and you want to fight for this, you've got to decide now, like, how am I going to make this happen? Where am I going to find this money? And take massive action towards making that happen. Just like I went and bought those things on Craigslist and sold them. And that was massive action because I wanted it bad enough I was willing to go do something about it instead of sit here complaining on why I didn't have enough money. So if you're in that state right now, I totally understand you. I feel where you're at. I know how it is. It hurts. It's scary. But if you make the sacrifices, it's going to be all part of your story. I'm here today, like I said, in Toronto, speaking to 200 plus guests, and it's had an absolute honor and great time touring Toronto these past couple of days, and it all started with that, at that point. And so I want you to know right now that I believe in you. I need you to believe in yourself enough to make massive action plan to go out and to make things happen, make the sacrifices, go out and do what it takes, and don't make excuses about where you're at. So I believe in you, and let's go out and do this. And I hope this video helps you know a little bit about where I started. And I know how it is. Like I said, it's scary, but I believe in you. You've got to find that thing worth fighting for, and then you go to town. Okay? Your health is so important for the long-term health of your brain, the health of your family, of your relationships. All depends on you taking care of yourself. So I'm challenging you now, whether it's you want to be a coach or you want to be a customer in a challenge group, to stop making excuses, to figure out how to make this happen for you instead of figuring out all the reasons why you can't do this. I believe in you. Once again, guys, thank you for watching. See you later.